Snow is directed by J.A. Bayona and stars a bunch of people who I do not want to say their names because I'm most definitely going to mispronounce them. This film is a true story based on devastating events. On October 13th, 1972, Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571, chartered to take a sports team to Chile, crashes into a glacier part in the heart of the Andes. Now, this movie is terrifying. And it wasn't just terrifying for me because I watched this movie on a plane. And obviously, as most of you know, if you've heard of this movie, you know that there's a very thrilling, well-directed, but horrifying plane crash that occurs in the beginning of this movie that was one of the most riveting experiences I've ever had. Not just mostly because I was on a plane, because it was actually well-directed. It was so well-directed. But since I was on the plane, man, it made it so much more terrifying, and it was more terrifying seeing where these characters actually ended up because of the plane crash. And what I love about this movie is that it doesn't just rely on the heartbreaking nature of how bad this situation is. The directors and writers of this movie actually cared about the characters, and as this is a true real-life story, everything that happens with the characters actually happens in real life, and you understand the emotions and pains they're going through in this devastating situation they're in. They are stuck in a cold mountain with snow everywhere, with no food, and obviously the snow would get them sick because that is their water. And it's heartbreaking that this is a true story that actually happened in real life. However, even with it being a heartbreaking, devastating experience, it is pretty beautiful on a visual and audio level. The score, the soundtrack, the visuals, everything just looks so beautiful, yet it's terrifying. It's what I would call devastatingly beautiful. Another thing I really, really liked about this movie is that there wasn't really a main character. We are focusing on a bunch of these characters. There is a character that has a voiceover, but all of these people trapped in this situation, there isn't a main character, because in real life there wasn't a main character. It showcases teamwork and the will of these people to survive, and they know that basically all hope is lost, because until the season ends, the winter season ends, there will be no one who sees them. And even if a helicopter flies above them, they won't get found because they are so deep down in there. And it's terrifying to, like I said, understand that this is really a true story that actually happened, and no one is safe. In fact, there is something that they have to do in this movie. I won't get into spoilers, but it's something that they have to make a moral decision of. They need it to survive, but on the other hand, they never got permission to actually do what they did. It's very, very R-rated as a thing that they're doing, but it's so heartbreaking seeing what they have to do, and then suddenly some characters are realizing what they have to do to give them permission. It's complicated, and if you have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but it's a complicated decision. I would be exactly like the characters were if I was in this situation with them. My only flaw with this movie, it's not really a flaw because it is real life and this did happen, but the movie is very slow paced, and I was not bored at all by this, but it was just sometimes I felt like maybe we could montage through these things because, this specific thing doesn't really add something to the greater story, but besides that, it's such a beautiful but devastating experience in general, and some of these sequences, they're in between the whole movie, but they're some of the most thrilling and just terrifying sequences I will experience all year. It's up there with the Dune Part 2 Sandworm test scene. It's that thrilling, and maybe even more so because it is a true story. But yeah, besides some of my few issues with the pacing, I believe this will be one of the best movies of the year by the end of 2024, and it was one of the most just gut-wrenching experiences I've had watching a movie in a long time, and it's definitely up there with the best survival thrillers of all time. Society of the Snow, 4 stars. This was actually the first movie of 2024 I saw, and that was a depressing way to kick off the year. Man. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.